Hello, Wild Hearts and Rooted Souls. Today I thought I'd bring you along while I planted some tomato plants. So the first thing that I always do when I get tomato plants is I actually take off the bottom about 2/3 of the leaves because I'm gonna plant it deep. If you can see all these hairs on here, if you bury them will become roots and you'll have a much stronger plant that's gonna produce a lot more. I have this one, he's a little wiggly, but I am going to take off probably this one and below. I also wanted to show you one other thing. Do you see how in the elbow of this branch there is a little guy growing? So he will end up getting bigger and bigger, but if you leave him, he is never going to actually produce fruit. All he's gonna do is take power away from the plant. When your tomato plants are growing nice and big, producing fruit, you always want to actually remove this little elbow guy. And actually, if you want to produce more tomato plants, you like this variety, if it's a bit bigger, you can actually take the elbow plant, stick it in the soil, and it'll become a whole new tomato plant for you. But if you leave it on the plant, it will not produce tomatoes at all, so you want to remove it. So this guy looks pretty good. As you see, I have about 2/3 off. I want to leave enough where it still can photosynthesize, but I really want this root system to be strong. So once you dig your hole, I'm doing it in a bucket, but of course the same thing applies in ground. You can either dig it straight down and set the plant in it, or if your ground's a little tough and you want to bury it like a J, that is completely fine too. It will still grow really well. But something strange that works really well is actually to take an egg, put it in the hole, make sure it breaks, and that will be really good fertilizer for your tomato throughout the season. So the egg and the yolk will fertilize it, and then also as the shell breaks down, it'll also give it a lot of nutrients. So next, you always want to break up the root systems just a little bit, and then add soil back up. All right, here we go. So I have it planted pretty deep. I'm leaving about 1 inch between that last leaf stem right here and the soil because I don't want that to get too wet and start rotting. I'll do a separate video once this gets bigger on how to prune it and keep it healthy, make sure you're getting airflow and all that kind of stuff. Now the last thing to do is you want to make sure to water any new plant that you put in the ground or in the soil. There we go. I'll make sure he stays pretty watered for the first week or so just to make sure that his roots establish really well. But after that, intermittent periods of tomatoes being a little bit drier soil, they actually prefer that. It's also better, especially when they start producing tomatoes, because if you overwater your tomato plants, that's when the tomatoes start busting open because they are putting too much water into the actual tomatoes. Then you get pests and an unusable tomato. So here's some basics on just planting your tomato plants. I want to say if you've already planted your tomatoes and you didn't do that, maybe you didn't prune anything off and you kept it here at the soil. If you've done this just a couple weeks ago, I would dig it back up and plant it this way. Strip off most of the leaves, leave about 1/3, bury it deep, throw an egg in the bottom, make sure it's cracked. Digging it up won't hurt it too much, especially if it's only been in the ground for a couple of weeks. And in that way, you'll get a much stronger tomato plant throughout the season. Oh, and side note, check out my really cool shirt. Oh my gosh, I saw it in the window and I had to have it. It's from Feel Goods in Tipton. They are a local small business and they have a lot of really cool prints that she makes in-house. So if you're ever in the area, definitely check them out. Thanks guys, wishing you abundance.